Psalms 1 and 2. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instructions, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will obtain wise counsel. To understand a proverb and an enigma, the word of the wise, and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. My son, of sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. Let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and whole like those who go down to the pit. We shall find the kinds of precious possessions. We shall fill our house with spoils. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way of them. Keep your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. Surely a vain that the net is spread in the sight of any bird, but they lie in wait for their own blood, like they lurk secretly for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open squares. She cries out in the chief concourses, all the openings of the gates in the city. She speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn at my rebuke. Surely I will pour out my spirit on you. I will make my words known to you, because I have called and you refused. I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded, because you disdained all of my counsel and would have none of my rebuke. Also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your terror comes like a storm, and your destruction comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but they will not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would have none of my counsel, and despised my every rebuke. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own, and be filled to the full of their own fancies. For the turning away of simple will slay them, and all the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will dwell safely, and will be securely without fear of evil. My son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you, so that you incline your ear with wisdom, and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom from his mouth. Come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk uprightly. He guards the paths of justice and preserves the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity, and every good path. When wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, discretion will preserve you. Understanding will keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil, from the man who speaks perverse things, from those who leave the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perversity of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and who are devious in their paths, to deliver you from immoral women, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion for her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the dead. None of who go to you return, nor do you regain the paths of life. So you may walk in the way of goodness and keep to the paths of righteousness. For the upright and dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the earth, and the faithful will be uprooted from it. What this is talking about is you need to follow God. If you do not follow God, when you fall away and you mock him and you laugh at the thought of him and you just go out and you do destructive things and wallow pretty much in your sin, there comes a time when you're going to need God, and God's not going to hear you because you mocked him, because you didn't want anything to do with him. He's going to not have anything to do with you. And in section 2, it's talking about wisdom and taking on the wisdom of God and what he is leading you from. It talks about when you fall into sin, and it talks about sin as being a woman. She tricks you. She deceives you. She leads you into temptation. So from here it says, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and forgets the covenant of God. For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the dead. None who go to her return. Who do they regain the paths of life? So sin is like a woman who tricks you, who tricks you into, she seduces you into thinking that what she's got to offer is just this amazing thing. And as soon as you take it, she leaves you to die. She leaves you to wallow in your own sin, and she doesn't care that she is leading you away from heaven. She doesn't care that she is leading you to hell. She just don't care. She just wants you to fall into the sin that she has to offer you. Wisdom is spoken a lot about in Proverbs. Proverbs is full of beautiful wisdom. And if you take it verse by verse and read it, it's got so much to offer. It really does. It talks about how you're supposed to follow God, and it talks about the temptations and of all kinds of different things. It teaches women how to be a godly woman, and it teaches men how to be godly men. It also talks about the wicked and how they fall by falling into temptation, and it is beautifully put. And if you take it verse by verse, because a lot of people don't understand it until they do that. If you take it just this verse and the next verse and read each verse, it makes perfect sense. And wisdom is a she, by the way, and so is temptation. And the words here, it tells you how to protect yourself from the temptation. It shows you how to use wisdom to protect yourself from falling into the deceit and the lies of temptation. And once you walk away and you mock God, it also tells you that you're on your own. Once you laugh at God and you act like he is not anything other than a God, you act like that he is less than, he will treat you less than. And when you fall into trouble and you need him, he's not going to hear you, because you were wise in your own eyes and thought you were better than him. He will let you hold it for yourself at that point. When you fall into trouble and you need his help, he's not going to be there. So don't ever mock God. Don't ever laugh at him. There are consequences for doing that. It says so in the Bible. Hallelujah. Anyway, that was a awesome teaching, and I loved reading it, and I wanted to share it with you. God bless you.